Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to Costa Rica. In our first episode, we arrived in San Jose, picked up our rental from Nomad America, and started heading south along the Pacific coast, stopping at a few beaches and some thermal pools. After getting used to the tropical temperatures, in episode 2, we visited Baleena National Park and traveled down to the Osa Peninsula where we saw scarlet macaws, lots of fish, and a cool little lizard.
Another beautiful, peaceful morning at Playa Blanca. Waking up to our new squawky friends above our camp makes this place even more special. These scarlet macaws didn't seem to mind us being here, as they happily ate their breakfast up in the trees.
The tranquility of this location makes it even harder to pack up and leave, but once again, it's time to hit the road and head out on our next adventure. We've shown in previous videos how quick and easy it is to set up the rooftop tent, but it's equally as quick and easy to pack down. With a few poles removed, we simply fold it over and zip up the cover. This compact way of traveling lets us get into locations where we would otherwise have a hard time accessing, while still allowing us a comfortable place to sleep off the ground. Today our plan is to continue to travel out into the area around Puerto Jimenez and Playa Zapote to see what we can find for some beachfront camping. One thing that is very important to understand here in Costa Rica is you can't judge travel time by distance. You will find many roads on the map and your GPS will faithfully guide you down them. Just don't be surprised when they are less than smooth and may even require using low-range gears. Remember what I said about compact size? Check out the clearance on this tree. Yes, on the map this is a road, but locating the right road to the right beach can be a bit of a challenge around here. That said, generally these roads less traveled will lead you to the places less discovered, and just when you think you're on an endless track, you emerge. This is Playa Preciosa. Wow! As amazing as it is, you may have noticed this was not the beach we had intended to come to, so let's back down the whoop-de-doos and on to the next road. This looks better. Anywhere with a water crossing is sure to lead to a good place. FYI, there are a lot of water crossings everywhere in Costa Rica. After a short drive, we arrived at Playa Zapote. Though not that far from where we were at Playa Preciosa, Playa Zapote gives us a great shaded spot for some lunch and then a walk on the beach.
This gorgeous beach is loved by locals and can get busy on weekends, but while we were here, it was pretty empty. It was so relaxing walking along this beach, and some people say this can be a great uncrowded surfing location too. For some reason, this one big tree was a favorite hangout for birds. If you can see all the white rocks below, ew.
The low tide here gives Krista lots of things to discover in the sand, and the shallow angle of the beach means that the waves are quite small in size by the time they reach us. flat part of the beach is great for walking and wait, something shiny in the sand. No, never mind. Maybe we should give Krista the camera stick and see what... Okay, maybe some more practice. This truly is another amazing destination. There are no crowds, lots of sun, sand, shade, and shiny things. While we probably could have stayed here for the night, we decided to head back up to our previous night's location as it felt a little more secure. Of course, this meant we were in for a few more bumpy roads and water crossings, exactly what we like, and there's no shortage of that here. The drive from Playa Zapote back to Playa Blanca is only about 40 kilometers. Now, remember what I said about distance and time, but we're in no rush. The beach is not going anywhere. You know, it's funny how things work out sometimes. We met someone on the beach the other day who mentioned that their daughter had just moved down here. And we noticed this little, I don't know if you can see it, it's a Canadian flag painted on a satellite dish. And we met them today. They moved down here, they sold everything they had. They're from Ontario, not too far from us. Bought that piece of land and they're opening a school behind there. And that's it, that's their life now. So maybe we're doing it wrong in a tent. Maybe. Still got a fuso to build. Krista's gone for a swim. It's the same beach we've stayed at for the last couple of nights, it's just a different part of it. Seems like a good place to come back to. The next morning, we again watched the scarlet macaws and relaxed in the shade of their trees while marveling at how different this part of the world is compared to home. Yeah, I much prefer it here as well. We've just spent our third night here, tucked under the trees on the Osa Peninsula out at Playa Blanca. It is now low tide and I can walk way out into the ocean. We're going to head north today along the coast and we're going to stop at a waterfall. As hard as it is to leave all of these places behind, we consider this somewhat of a scouting trip, a chance to mark places on our map for when we are able to return again someday. Onward to the next discovery. This waterfall will start us off on our journey in exploring more of the higher elevations of Costa Rica, and also points us in the direction of the Pacific coast. Unfortunately, the GoPro audio didn't pick up much of anything, but here's a recap for you. The falls are a short 5-minute or so walk from the parking lot and offer a very refreshing swimming hole with a peaceful waterfall surrounded by nothing but rainforest. The entry fee here, again, is very reasonable. There were no crowds to be seen, and we essentially had the place to ourselves. What more could you ask for on Valentine's Day? If you're lucky on your visit here, you may even catch a glimpse or two of the amazing blue butterflies. If you take a walk downstream from the main falls, there are a number of smaller pools with smaller falls between them. Feeling refreshed, it's time to hop back in the Landcruiser and cruise through some new lands. We are now headed into the high elevations, through the backbone of Costa Rica, through the clouds, and over to the Pacific. As we weave our way through the small towns, continuing to gain elevation, the temperature continues to go down as we go up. The views from here are hard to capture between gaps in the trees, but it's like nothing we've ever seen before. We finally found a small turnoff beside the highway where we could stop for lunch, and the view here did not disappoint. For that matter, the food here doesn't disappoint either. These mini bananas are probably what bananas are supposed to taste like. Far sweeter than what we are used to back home.
You want some banana?
Yeah, when I'm done this one.
As we continued to climb in elevation, we noticed ourselves above the clouds, and just as we were wondering how high we were, we found the answer.
So we're just on number 2, crossing over kind of in behind San Jose, and we just found a marker that says we're at 2,905 meters. I'm not sure how many feet that is, but I'll put it at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it's so much cooler up here.
We are actually in the clouds.
Driving in the clouds is a new experience, and as the roads got steeper and higher while the gears went lower and lower, the views became more and more impressive. Though we are attempting to, what the camera can capture just does not show you the reality of what we're seeing. Let's try pulling over to give you a better view.
It feels like we're on top of the world up in the clouds at this higher elevation. The air is cooler, and as we drive across the interior from one coast to the other, the plants and trees change completely, from tropical coast palm trees to a landscape that seems to belong in a different country. Okay, time to keep going. It's the end of the dry season with lots of flowering trees and giant spiky plants. We don't recognize anything here, and it's amazing to feel like we're discovering so many new things.
While the sun is shining here, you never know what's around the next corner, literally. And just like that, we are fully into the clouds. Just a reminder that you should always stay completely on your side of the road. These guys do not mess around up here, and not only can you quickly have reduced visibility, these clouds can quickly turn into rain. Emerging out the other side, we entered into a valley of completely different scenery, which also happens to change from time to time, like once upon a time there was a road here, which appears to have eroded. This is Kachi Basin, created by the hydroelectric generating station's water catchment area. It really looks like something you see on a 5,000-piece puzzle, the really difficult one with reflections and repeating patterns. This is not photoshopped, it is not filtered. This is Costa Rica, and I still can't believe that we are here. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is not the most beautiful campsite we've ever been in, but it's pretty close to level, it's free, and it's easy to get to. So this is where we are tonight. Daylight disappears very quickly here, so don't be surprised if you start making a meal in full light. and end up in complete darkness by the time you're ready to eat. I just meant like...
Oh, I'll do it again. You smell it.
Sausage and onion, and some sauce. Okay, so what are we putting in?
Well, it got dark, and then it started to rain, and then the mosquitoes came out. So we're eating in the truck. And I think after we eat our pasta and our bananitos, probably going straight to bed. Not quite what we pictured here.
This would be one of our coldest nights, getting down to about 16 degrees. The next day, we continued our trek to the Pacific. The main roads took us over to Limon, and then south, and almost off the Costa Rica map. Well, that was a lot of driving. We are now at Punta Uva Beach, which is on the Caribbean side at the south, sort of south end. Panama's not that far that way, and there's not really much more that way in Costa Rica. The road that goes down the beaches ends not too far from here. But we've parked in a little spot by the beach. I think we got a pretty good spot. I hope you've enjoyed this video and are as excited to see our next episode as we were to discover the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. Make sure you tune in next time, and better yet, hit subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss an episode. If you've got any questions for us, leave them in the comments section below and we'll do what we can to answer them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Go.
Just pee.
No.
Sure.
Well, I do, but...